Welcome to Bond SCX. This is Lance, the Bargain Stock Bounty Hunter, back at you again with another great plays of the week. This is where X marks the spot to put you on the top. This is week 50, December 12th through December 16th. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I advising anyone to spend their money. This is only for educational purposes and only my opinion. Any money spent is at the individual's own discretion and not due to any information from me. So I got my special guest Dad joining me today, and got 2 weeks left before the end of the year. Getting down to the wire, and we've got some good plays still left out there, even short and long term. So let's get started with looking at the market overall. Let's start off looking at the Nasdaq composite. So looking at the Nasdaq coming into last week, we see that the market did fall below where I expected to be by Friday. And then we see some continuation of that fall, looks like coming into this week. So the MACD is down. I see that coming down this week some more. And the momentum looks like it's starting to come up some, but I do expect by Friday for the market to be somewhere around 11,047 to around 11,240. So a little bit lower pullback, and from what we see from this previous week. We do see a little bit of support here on the blue. So that could turn around. We do have the CPI report coming out Tuesday, and there's also another Fed meeting on Wednesday. So something around Tuesday, Wednesday, we could see a little spike up, or we could see a spike down, but we should see ultimately a pullback and a consolidation somewhere around that price range for Friday. So look like 11,045 to like 11,240. Moving on to the New York Stock Exchange, everything's still kind of pulling back into zone where we expect it to be. So it's been pretty bullish over the last few weeks. And so what we saw last week was definitely a pullback. And we see the market wanting to pretty much support on the simple moving average. So we see on the 180, what I use here, almost want support here. But I do expect for this one to continue to fall down some more by Friday. Just looking at 15,183 to around 15,407. I expect it to continue, this one to continue down throughout the next couple of weeks before the end of the year. We can see the MACD's down, momentum's down, RSI, everything's pointing down. So this one's definitely tracking, and so it's following each other in the pretty much the right direction, going down into the zone here. So still a little bit of pullback on both markets this week. But again, we do have some pretty interesting reports coming out this week that could swing the market either way pretty quickly. So let's get into the plays of the week. So on a short-term trade, I've got Wayfair, trended at a 2, and at 27 cents overpriced, true value of $37.48. And we called out Wayfair, I would say, a couple times this year. And I'm going to show you real quick. Last time we called out Wayfair was somewhere around, it's like in July. And we called it out, really came down to both our price points that week, turned around really good, came to where I expected to be that Friday, and continued on. So if you look at where I called it out Friday, where we called it out, and at the height there, looking at 69% on 21 days. So not a bad call out from the last time we called it out. So since then, it's had a low of $28.11. It's been kind of beat up since then quite a bit. And it also has had a recent earnings report back in November, and they did not meet estimations. Actually, they did better than estimation as far as how much they lost. They lost $2 per share versus $3. And since then, we've seen a little bit of a pull up slightly. And so again, it's coming in at a trend of a 2. I like what I see in the momentum and the MACD, and also the RSI that I'm showing here at the bottom. It's on a 0 wave count for the month. So as the balance looks, as I say, 0 is where the midpoint is, and then on the wave count of a -1, it's extended down, +1 is extended up. So this one can definitely go either way, obviously, at a way kind of a zero. But what I do see is some stability. I see the green, red, and blue all in order. It is under the EMA, the teal here. So I do expect a pullback to at least 32.65. And then by Friday, expect it to be somewhere around 36.54 to around 42.53. So looking at a potential anywhere between 12 and 30% by Friday this week. So that's my call out for Wayfair. And Daz, what's your call out for Wayfair this week?
Yeah, for me, I got down 29.53.
Okay.
I'm just going off a 4-hourly 180-day chart. I saw a little bit of demand in that zone, I think. I don't necessarily think it'll get there, possibly, so I have a better chance of getting at your price point this week, though. But I think that's probably like a worst case scenario. But like you mentioned earlier, it just depends on how the CPI report and stuff come out, because that's an extremely volatile day for everything.
53. Okay, so 53 will put us down. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good price point too. If you can get in 29.53, again, there's a lot of the markets showing a rough week. So a strong pull down in the price, 29.53 is a great price. So definitely get in there. You're getting a steal. So all right, good deal, good shot. We'll look at next on the list. Hasbro comes in. So Hasbro is a toy company. Pretty much all of your Monopoly games and board games is made through Hasbro. Coming at a trend of a 2, $1.45 on sale, true value of $60.94. So let's look at the charts for Hasbro. Look at a 1 year, 1 day. I've never called this one out before. Have been scanning as of the last few months. And so look at the where the cake range is, which is where the purple lines are here, so where the price wants to be. And we see this one was $105.73 back in January. And this one has been pretty much above or in the cake range all the way this year up until September. And we see September, a drastic drop off in the price, and we see a constant pullback. We see a low of $55.15 as of 11/17. And so this one is a dividend stock. It does give 70 cents every quarter for every share. It is profitable. They didn't meet expectations on that last one, but they were pretty close. So again, this one's seems like a pretty good company. It's been around a long time. I do like what I'm seeing here with the last 4 days. So you look at last from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, strong pullback, which tells me there could be a nice pull up. But I do think by this week, 58.45 is a great price point. I like what I'm seeing in the MACD, a little bit of a pullback, momentum's down a little bit too, and same with the RSI. But I think at 58.45 is a great price point to see this one support, and potentially by Friday end up around 60.30 to around 60.62, but definitely could hold this one a lot longer. So you're looking at by Friday anywhere between 4 and probably 7 to 8%. So 58.45 is my call out for Hasbro. That's what your call out for Hasbro this week.
Yeah, for me, I got down 52.12.
Okay, 52.12.
It's a little out there, but I'm just playing that gap that was on a 3-year 1 day around March 20th.
Okay.
And around that.
March 20th. Yeah.
3-year 1 day. That's what I was looking at. And again, I don't know if it'll get there, but
yeah, I mean, we got $6 off of where I'm at. So look at March gap.
2020, that's 22.
My bad. Yeah, you went way back on me. Back in here, I got you. Mm-hmm. Okay. It seemed like a good support too. So, and this one again, like I said, it's a dividend stock, so it's been anywhere between 68 to 70 cents So definitely holding this one a long time. You can't go wrong. So, okay, good one. Appreciate that. So we're gonna go next on the list is Roblox. So if anyone has children, they know what Roblox is. If anyone's a gamer, so Roblox is a computer game company that pretty much has all kind of online games for primarily for kids, but I think a lot of adults play them too. So coming out of trend number 2, 89 cents on sale, true value of $32.54. So let's look at Roblox. I have not called this company out either this year. So let's look at a 1 year, 1 day real quick, scan it out. So looking at how this one has performed over the year, it's had a high of 115.80, pretty much in December 13th of last year. And this one's been pretty much down below the cake range most of this year. It had a low of 21.65 in May and has been pretty much up since then. And we see recently that this one has attacked and crossed the SMA. So this is another one I talk about. Another point in a stock's performance is when it attacks and crosses the SMA. And so this one did that in October. It didn't last very long, but it did show a sign, or what I would call a marker or a flag for some potential to do this again. And so we see this one actually fall down quite a bit. And I think this was because the earnings report that we see where they actually lost more than estimated to lose. And we see that happen on November 9th. And since then, we see it pretty much perform a balance back and forth here over the last few weeks. And so I would say, looking at the wave count, it's at a balance of 0 on the monthly. And I think at $29.84 is a great price point this week. I do like what I'm seeing in the MACD and the momentum. RSI looks like it's pointing down just a little bit. I do like what I'm seeing here. It has resisted on the green, resisted on the red. So the next normal expectations for it to resist on the blue. So we're looking at by Friday, anywhere between 32.22 to 34.20. So that's my call out. It's 29.84. That's about anywhere between 8 to 13% by Friday. So with Roblox, 29.84 is what I'm going in at. And I think that's a pretty good price for me. So Daz, what's your call out for Roblox this week?
I got down 25.74.
25.74.
Yeah, I'm just saw a little bit of support in that range around June.
Okay.
Earlier this year.
You ever bought any Roblox before?
I haven't. I think they IPO like kind of somewhat recently too, right?
Yes, I think they're fairly new.
Yeah, I almost bought their IPO at one point, but I didn't.
Speaking of, let's look at 3 years. I think it was on like 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah, so April. Yeah, April of 2021. It's like
I see it in March.
and then we see hit a high all time of 140, 160. So
maybe I should have bought an IPO.
There was a lot of excitement around this one when it first came. I do remember that now that you say that. And of course, that's the height of the pandemic. And so you're looking at a lot of kids staying home, a lot of people can't get out. So now you see this is probably more realistic of where the price should be in a normal working society. So yes, I think ultimately this one could be around $30. I'm sorry, $40 in no time. So anyway, good stock, I believe, for a long-term hold, and definitely for this one to potentially cross the SMA again here in the near future. So, all right, next on the list is Coherus Bioscience. So comes in a flat trend, 5 cents overpriced, true value of $6.88. Don't know a whole lot about this company. I believe, Daz, you brought this company to my attention a couple months ago. I don't know if you remember or not, but
I do.
But I liked it. I liked it. So I started scanning it when you brought it up to my attention. Let's look at a 1 year, 1 day. And this one has a nice, really nice little pattern if you look at it. So 1795 was its high back on December 22nd. Spent a little time in the cake range here, back and forth, pretty much below the SMA for most of the year up until August. Spent a lot of time between April and August below the cake range. So a lot of time to load up on the stock and hit a low of $5.60. And so this one has gone, if you think about $5.60 at that point, up to the high it hit after that point, looking at 141% in about 61 days. So a lot of opportunity with the stock. So it's come back into the cake range zone, fell right back out of it. So I think there's a great opportunity right now, looking at where the support line has been, where it's going on a slight progression up. It's also in a -1 wave count, which if we know this one wants to be at a 0 balance, that means it's under where it should be. So that tells me nothing but up. I'm looking at the MACD looks good. Momentum looks really good. RSI looks good. I think what I'm seeing here with the cross with the teal and the green, this can come down with maybe a potential day of Tuesday, Wednesday, if we hear something potentially negative with the CPI report. At $6.54, I'd be more than glad to get in with some shares on this one, potentially by Friday, even for potentially long term for 686 to 720. So looking at anywhere between 10 and 5%. Again, this one has a lot of potential just based on what I'm seeing with the chart. So Coherus is where I'm going in with this week at $6.54. That's what you call out for Coherus.
For me, I got down 645. So not too far off.
Real close. Closest one yet.
Yeah, for the day. I said on that line there.
You said 645?
And just for the record, viewers, I do not necessarily promote biotech stocks. So I'm not a fan.
Yeah. So that's a good point. I don't think we've called many biotechs out this year. I know we called out housing, which is one I've traded quite a few times in the prior years. Called out Moderna, of course. We called out Pfizer, but those are really big names. This is kind of a smaller name company. So I'm right there with that. I don't typically deal with bio stocks. Not that you can't make money off of them, but they're difficult to really time, in a lot of cases. They can be extremely volatile. And but I think with this one, like I said, I like this chart that I'm seeing. And I definitely think this one can make some money for sure over the next couple months. So Coherus is where we're going in at this week if it comes down to that price, even for a short-term period or long-term. So Enovix this week comes in at a -2. I called this one out 3 weeks in a row. This is my third week calling this one out. 74 cents on sale, true value of $12.36. So I really like this company. I really like the charts for this company. It's an electric battery company. And so I won't go back to previous call outs, but looking at where it stands, it's again at a wave count of a -1. We see 2 weeks ago, it came down to my price point and almost came up to where I expect to be by Friday. So it made 10.5% from where I called it out that week. We see last week it came down to my price point again, coming in at 11.75, a little bit cheaper. And then, but it didn't perform as well by Friday. But looking at from 11.75 to its high of that week of last week, even 4.5% gain from that standpoint. But I think even with this week, I believe you can get in a little bit cheaper. I am seeing some resistance on the red EMA, which is the eight-day, looking into the future EMA. And so I'm seeing this one resist there. I think by this week, I believe 1085 was a great price point. I do expect this one to fall a little bit more. I'll see what I'm seeing in the MACD is just a little bit of a pullback. The momentum is just now crossing up, so it still looks good on the momentum side. Our side looks like it's kind of flat for the most part. But I think at 1085, I really like this price point. And I think by Friday, $12 to 13.25, looking at anywhere between 22 and 12.5%. It's my expectation. So going in with Enovix this week at $10.85. That's what your call out for Enovix this week.
We're close on that one too. At 1048.
1048.
I just think there's a little bit of demand in that area at that price point.
You know much about this company? Ever heard of it?
Nah, it's my first time actually hearing about this one.
Yeah, it looks like real quick, looks like they engage in design, developing, and manufacturing silicon anode lithium ion batteries. And so we've talked about ABML quite a bit this year. So this is, would be, I guess, one of their competitors.
Competitor right
there. Yeah. So
they're saying avoid and reduce right now though. You rate how recent is that?
This is from I don't know.
No, I'm talking about the market index report up there at the top left. They're saying reduce. Oh wow, okay.
12-11. Yeah.
Gotta be careful with some of those too though.
And it looks like, if you look at here, it looks like it's not so much car batteries as much as they're doing like smaller, like phones, laptops, wearable products. So
it's eyewear sale too. That's interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, just thought I'd share that one with you since if you hadn't heard of it. So all right, moving on to the next one, and last but not least, the infamous Tesla comes in at a -2 trend, $2.58 over price, and $181.63 at true value. And this one has been a tough one to really find a good price lately. It's been pretty volatile. I think that's since like the Twitter acquisition, this one has been beaten up quite a bit. So we won't go through all the price points or all the call outs we've done this year for Tesla. The most recent one definitely blew through both our price points. We called out around 200. It's been down to 166.19 since then. I've bought and traded some around the 170s, made some money off of it since then. And it's like a great opportunity now coming down again. I like what I'm seeing in the MACD, momentum, RSI. I do see it again, trying to catch some momentum. I would say coming out of 166 again, I could see that. But I do think this week 173.94 is a great price point. And I think by Friday, 182 to 191 would be pretty reasonable. Again, it does depend on how the market moves this week. So you're looking at maybe 4 to 10%. But definitely Tesla long term. Can't go wrong with this company. I don't like the fact that they don't pay dividends, but you can still make a lot of money off this one if you can time it just right. And so this one has been beaten up quite a bit since September 21st. And so we definitely called it out. I called it out then at 283. It blew past that price considerably at that point. So this one's been a little challenging one here lately. And the Tesla, I guess the favorites who love this company have been experienced a lot of pain if they've been holding stock price. So that's what you call out for Tesla this week. I'm going in 173.94.
Kind of cheated this week a little bit with Tesla. So I got two marks.
Okay.
I got one at 163.48, and that's the one I would probably try to play for this week. It probably will not get there this week.
You don't think it'll drop down that much?
I don't think so. That's where I would like to get in at.
Did you say 94?
163.48.
48.
The the bigger picture with Tesla, I'm playing it off of like the weekly charts. So like price available weeklies, and it's really close to that 200 moving average. So if it breaks that, then it can be bad. But I think there's a lot of demand around. So yeah, my second market is at 154.
154. Okay.
That's one stock I'm glad I sold earlier this year, though.
Where were you holding earlier? You don't mind sharing as far as like price point wise? Is that before split?
I would say it's kind of hard for me to say. It was before split.
Okay.
So it was, I think with split prices probably around 80s, 90s, I think.
Okay.
And I sold at like 268 this year, I think.
Okay. Cool.
No, excuse me. Actually, that was something else. I was I think pre-split I was around like 120s from what it would be now.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold at yeah, like the 260. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is one that again, it's
yeah, I've been.
It can be
trying, man.
This one can be painful if you've been holding Tesla stock for a long time. But it's not just Tesla. I mean, we look at a lot of the other electric.
Yeah, Apple's down.
Apple. You look at Neo. Neo's been beaten up like crazy. I would say all the
big ones.
All the big ones that have been getting parts from China or making parts in China have been impacted drastically.
I don't know if Microsoft got hit as bad as everybody else, though. But
yeah. Yes.
So do you say with Tesla, the question would you I know we talked about the options before. We think that just buy the equities, shares of it, or it's just so volatile, you know. Like,
yeah, I would say. I mean, they don't pay dividends, so holding equities really doesn't give you a whole lot, other than the fact that you just keep holding it forever. Which again, long term, I see Tesla's staying around above the 200s anyway. I think Elon's been so I think he's been so wrapped up with all the Twitter stuff that I think a lot of people have lost a lot of, I guess, faith in the price. And so, but you got to keep in mind, he's still got a lot of things he's bringing out. They just announced the semi truck. And they got the Cybertruck coming out. I think they've got another revision of one of the cars. So they're going to be around for a long time. So I don't see why anyone wouldn't just hold the equities. And you can play around with the options. I think you can make money for sure. But I would just hold equities, even though they don't pay pay dividends. I would hold the equities for this one. It may be a little painful for a little while, but at these prices, I don't see getting drastically cheaper. I would say I wouldn't be surprised if we did go into a deep recession, that this one would be around the $100 range. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. So
I mean, it is possible, especially if we get under that 200. If you look at the daily chart, it doesn't look great.
All right. All right. So that's pretty much all the call outs for this week. Appreciate Daz joining me today. And again, we're going to continue to keep this train rolling. We've got a couple more weeks. And so we'll definitely try to look at, we can come up with a video that kind of highlights the best call outs for the year, some of the best ones we called out, and maybe some of the worst ones we called out. So trying to be as transparent as possible. So we'll talk about maybe coming up with a video for that. But appreciate everyone joining us this week. And again, good luck trading. If you don't mind, share this video with others who like technical analysis, like and subscribe to the videos. The videos have been getting a lot more views here lately. So hopefully we're bringing some good stuff to the audience. If you have any comments, please comment. If there's some companies you'd like for us to scan or call out price points. We didn't do any like it, love it, lose it today, but we'll continue looking at doing that too going forward. So anyway, thank you for joining us, and have a good trading week.